What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you, T, for the request. The red sands of Nuceria that make up Angron's homeworld was an unforgiving planet, located in the Ultima Segmentum, where it represented one side of the history of Rome, and Gilliman represented another side of the history of Rome. Nuceria represented the side containing all of the slavery, the barbaric fighting of gladiatorial combat, and the sacrificing of individuals' lives, all for blood sport and the entertainment of what would be known as the High Riders. All of this would take place from the capital city known as Deshea, and these High Riders were the very same individuals that would capture slaves, implant them with the butcher's nails, also that the violence could overflow so there could be more entertainment in gladiatorial combat. This is what happened to Angron. But as many of us may know, the Emperor would come for Angron and he would be taken away before him and his brothers could be slaughtered in combat. Rather, Angron was taken away and the rest of the people that he grew up with were left to perish. We know what would happen. Angron would join the Great Crusade, lead many of the Emperor's armies into combat, become the Primarch of the World Leaders, but whatever happened to Nuceria? Nuceria would remain a part of the Imperium's empire. They would still pay their tithes and taxes, all while remaining quote-unquote loyal to the greater Imperium government. So imagine that, the Primarch that would grow up to rebel against his whole planet, and instead of conquering it, it would simply be absorbed into the Imperium while he was taken captive yet again. But the story of the Red Sands of Nuceria do not end there. Throughout all this time, much of Nuceria actually believed that Angron was gone forever, that he abandoned the battle and was disgraced for it. Many years later, during the Horus Heresy, they would soon be proven wrong, as Angron would return to the Red Sands to seek vengeance and answers. Upon his arrival and learning of what the people of Nuceria believed happened to Angron and that he fled the combat, enraged Angron would order the execution and outright extermination of all life on top of the planet. This all pretty much took place during the Shadow Crusades, and so eventually the Ultramarines would arrive to find the Word Bearers and the World Eaters wreaking havoc all over Nuceria, and this battle would eventually lead to the ascension of Angron to become a Daemon Prince. The Ultramarines would have to tactically withdraw, and eventually Nuceria would fall to become a demon world. But once again, its history wouldn't end there. Once becoming that of a planet which belonged to Khorne, many of those that worshipped the Blood God would vie for power of the planet itself. One of the demons belonging to Khorne, known as Argok Kol, would emerge as the victor, ruling over the planet itself. But this would not last long, as Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the First Legion, would have other plans. During the Horus Heresy, since he couldn't return to Terra as the warp storms were preventing him from doing so, he had other plans, and instead sought out after the homeworlds of all the traitorous Primarchs. Nuceria would be one of the planets which Lionel Johnson visited. And as if the planet wasn't damned enough, Lionel Johnson would utterly destroy the whole planet. His hope was to draw enough attention away from the traitors so that they would return to defend the planets. That would never happen, but nonetheless, it would definitely strike a blow to the traitorous forces, as they could no longer call for other allies that were located on these planets, and thus marked the cataclysmic end of his homeworld, Nuceria. I know that was a super brief rundown, but nonetheless, thank you again, T, for the request, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Drop a comment if there's anything you guys want to hear about next, and as always, remember to follow for more.